Welcome to the first ever BS High School report at Planet Sub. I'd like to thank David Stiles and Planet Sub for hosting us. And in this first episode, we will be talking to Jadin Booth of Westside High School in Omaha. And Jadin is going into his senior year. He's been a starter for 3 years at Westside and has recently just signed with the University of Nebraska Omaha to play basketball for the Mavericks. And here is Jadin and Bob at Planet Sub in Loveland on 90th and Center. Welcome to the first ever Bob Sullivan Show BS High School report at Planet Sub. I am joined here for the first ever episode by Jadin Booth, guard from Westside High School and future UNO Mav. Jadin, how you doing?
Good, thank you for having
No problem. Sorry I couldn't dress up better, but I figured I didn't want to outdo you. So
it's all good.
So, well, Jadin, you're going into your senior season, coming off a third-team All-State selection, just signed with UNO. What was the reason for signing early with UNO?
Yeah, many reasons. One, just staying close to home was huge for me. I went on a couple of visits to like South Dakota State, things like that, and I just kind of felt like being home was probably the best fit for me. And then family-wise, my mom just got her master's from there. Two of my brothers went there. One got his master's there as well. So just kind of family and tradition. And Coach Hansen, I had a meeting with him the day before I committed, and we were all kind of on the same page. So it only felt right to do so.
What was the recruiting process for you, not only with UNO, but with other schools? Was it you had to go find them? Were they finding you? How was it different from other players right now?
So we had a tournament in Omaha, quite like early 16 UAU season, and I kind of went off in it, and Kearney hit me up, and so I went out to their elite camp, and after that they offered me, and then after that UNO came in the mix, and then a couple other summer league schools. So then later that same month in June, UNO offered me after their elite camp as well. And so a lot of mid-major and like Horizon and Mountain West League, all those schools kind of started talking to me. None of them offered me, but I went on to a couple of visits like South Dakota State. I was going to go on to one with Green Bay, but then I committed to UNO. So a lot of those like Green Bay, Northern Iowa, Colorado State, all those mid-major conferences started looking at me.
What was the biggest selling point as far as UNO goes when they were recruiting you?
Oh man, probably just the home factor, honestly.
So there really wasn't much of a recruitment for you.
Yeah,
it pretty much sold itself.
Right. Yeah, and then definitely seeing them in the Summer League Championship. I mean, they were minutes away from getting March Madness. That gave me a lot of confidence in their program and things like that. So I know it's definitely headed in the right direction. I just want to be a part of it.
Was there any players on the team right now that you talked to that also helped with that?
Yeah, I texted Io before I met with Coach Hansen and just asked him a few questions on why he committed and things like that. And he gave me a lot of good pointers, a lot of good information about the school and other things like that. So he was also a pretty good part of it too.
Well, going into your senior season, you are on pace to break the all-time scoring record at Westside, which has stood for probably like 8 months total, with Chase Thompson breaking it last year.
Right.
Already 1,000-point scorer. What else do you want to accomplish at Westside? I know getting back to state with this team was big. What's next?
The state championship. I know those personal goals. Those will just come. But just trusting our hard work and getting back to state, like you said. But I think each year with Coach Simons, we've all taken a step further. first it was getting to the district final, then winning that district final, getting to state, and I think now we definitely can take that next step to the state championship. So that'll be the biggest one for sure.
Now, you started as a freshman on the varsity team, a 5-win varsity team. Things turned around your sophomore year, got to 11 wins, 19 in your junior year. How much tougher will this season be without Chase Thompson? And I mean, you've changed your role about 3 times now.
Yeah.
What's your new role going to be this coming season?
I think my role will honestly stay the same. But as far as being a more vocal leader and just that person people look up to, I think that'll be a huge, big step for me. But certainly with Chase being out of the mix, I think that'll be tough. But at the same time, it's kind of a positive thing for us since we're small. I think that could give us a lot of positives on the defensive end and the transition game. I think we can get out and run on people, and I think it could cause a lot of mismatches for a lot of other teams.
With teams, teams started to kind of put different defenses on you last year. Whether it be a box and 1, triangle and 2 on you and Chase. What was a time last year where you felt like the defense that they put on you was perfect, but you were just too locked in that it just didn't work? Or do you ever kind of think of things like that where the game plan for you was great, or the game plan for you exploited it? How do you ever feel that one?
Sometimes I do. When a lot of teams switch, a lot of like screens and things like that, I think that gives me a lot of mismatches personally. And I think not just scoring for myself, I believe I can make plays for other people. So when teams like to switch down screens or ball screens, I think that creates a lot of mismatches and a lot of playmaking ability for myself.
Last year, state tournament, first round, guys had the game taken care of, and then Max Polk gets hot, a couple turnovers down the stretch. How has that helped with not only your motivation going into the season, but other guys like PJ and Carl and everybody else?
I think it helps a lot. I think we have something to look forward to, kind of prove people wrong. I think a lot of people thought we weren't ready for that big stage, that next step. So I definitely think this year coming in, we have a little chip on our shoulder, wanting to work harder, wanting to do better than what we were last year. And like I said, just prove people wrong that we are ready for it and that we can go make some noise in the state tournament.
Coaching from high school to summer is a tough transition. How difficult is it? I mean, obviously you don't have to, basically roll the ball out and go play for summer league. What is versus telling kids what to do and whatnot and setting up plays? As far as you go, how is high school versus playing at AAU, trying to find a college to play at? How is that? How much more difficult is it for you playing those two styles of play?
I wouldn't say it's more difficult. It's just definitely a different change. I think it's good, though, surrounding yourselves with people that maybe want to get to the next level that maybe on a high school team don't pursue that dream. But just finding what your strengths are and doing it to the best of your ability on the summer circuit, I think that's huge. Just learning how to affect the game in different ways than just your scoring ability, because everyone in high school knows you can score the ball. So showing coaches that you're not just a scorer, you can defend, you go dive after a loose ball, those things. I think that'll definitely help in your recruitment. Just doing the more littler things in the summer, I think that's huge.
Who is somebody that you, when you get matched up with at practice, really you feel like has made you the high school player that you are?
Yeah. I would say going back to freshman year, Ryan O'Neal, he used to harass me a little bit for sure. And then before Cal's injury, Cal's a tremendous defender. Whenever we'd have open gyms, me and him would always match up with each other. He pushed me and I pushed him. But probably those two, and then PJ, I mean, his quickness is pretty like no other really in the state. So I think those three people are huge. Just being able to push me and give me a challenge and try to get me better every day.
Now, your dad and your brother have, I mean, every time I'm up at Westside, there's a booth in the gym at some point, whether it be you with your dad, you with your brother. So they pushed you definitely to get you to where you are today.
Yes.
But when was the first time that, you know, it wasn't when you turn somebody down to go do something, to go to the gym. It wasn't, well, my dad's making me do this. It's my brother's making me do this. It's me and my dad or me and my brother going to do this.
Man, I could think about in elementary school even.
Wow.
After school every Wednesday, my brother would pick me up and he just asked me, "Want to go to the gym or not?" And I know some of my friends, they'd have play days, whatever you want to call them back then. They want to go hang out at their house. And every time I'm like, yeah, I want to go to the gym, try to get better. So I remember every Wednesday in elementary school, he'd always be there. And he'd always ask me, "Do you want to go or not?" And if I didn't want to go, he'd want to take me. But almost every time I was like, yeah, I want to go.
What was it that what was the one skill that your brother really helped you strengthen? So obviously the shooting, I feel like that was always there.
I think so, but I'm gonna say everything, man. I wasn't too skilled back in the day, but I just remember he would always have me working and pushing me every single day, especially with ball handling and being able to keep your handle tight, pounding the rock, anything like that. He really helped me with ball handling and shooting, really everything. I don't think there's just one specific thing.
A couple more questions. First one, what's the most embarrassing song that is on your pregame mix?
Man, I don't think I have
You don't have an embarrassing song?
I have an embarrassing song.
There's no Taylor Swift.
No, it's all. I stick to worship before games. I like to get in the zone and calm down, and just get my mind ready. So worship music is my go-to before games.
And one more. What's the most nervous you've been for a game? And was it high school, grade school, OSA?
Most nervous. I would probably say this last state game, but the whole bus ride down, I was cool, calm, collected, and then once you see that Pinnacle bank, man, it just kind of hits you. It's crazy. But then once you go out on warm-ups, lights are on you, it's kind of like you're ready to go. You're kind of pumped up. So I think all that nervousness, you just trust your work at that point. Just go out, have fun. At the end of the day, it's just basketball, so just enjoy the moment.
How did you, a lot of the problem at these state tournament games, you'll see some of these games wind up like in the 30s, and a lot of, these grown adults will be like, gosh, the kids just can't shoot. And it's the change in the depth perception of you're playing with a wall right behind your hoop for, 20-something games, and then all of a sudden you have a full arena.
Right.
How long did it take you to adjust to the depth perception? Obviously, pretty quickly into the game, but like when you first started warming up, what were your first couple shots like out there? Or were you able to?
I'm pretty sure I was hitting and warm ups.
Okay, well, yeah.
I didn't try to think too much. I think when you think too much, you kind of get out of your zone and start thinking too much. So I just try to trust my work, like I say, and just shoot the ball like I know how to.
Well, Jadin, I appreciate you coming on, being the first guest on the BS High School Report here at Planet Sub. Thanks for joining us, and make sure you check out Jadin this year at Westside, and next year at UNO. Make sure you get your tickets now because they'll be selling out pretty quickly. Jadin, again, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.